Good morning again. I hope you're still having an amazing Tuesday. I hope you're getting all your work done and making sure you're talking to your teachers. We were just on the phone with Mr. Roper this morning, and he wanted to remind us that it's really important that you guys stay in contact with us. So make sure you're doing that and getting answers back out to your teachers. All right, let's look at this really fast. We have already covered this in a video, so if you don't know what you're doing here, go on and check out that video. I've got a challenge for you, and a legitimate number 4 is what you should be looking for your teacher. In this video, I will help you out with this story problem, so give me just a minute. Reminder that you should be practicing your facts. I know a lot of you feel pretty good about your 2s, but you're not always perfect at the larger 9s, 8s, 7s, 11s, 12s. Those should be automatic. So make sure that you're practicing those. Find the right number bond cards for that. And then multiplication race. If you missed that video, there's a direction video up. It's a pretty fun game. So make sure you give that a whirl so that you know what you're doing by Friday when it is your job. Alrighty. Right now I want to take 10 seconds and look in on this story problem for the day. This one's going to take a second. You got to know some things to make sure you can get this one right. So let's look at it really fast. It says, Jonas practices guitar 2 hours a day for 2 years. How many hours does he practice? This is another one where you've got multiple facts inside one sentence. So there is a chunk here, if you guys chunked that out as I was reading. But there's another chunk in that sentence. You know what it is? Yeah, it's this 2 hours a day, and then for 2 years. The question is, how many hours does he practice? Make sure you get your sentence going. It should say something along the lines of he or Jonas, if you're being very specific, practices blank, whatever. Make sure you get your label in that sentence, okay? Also, make sure that you're on Unit 2, Day 2. I know I said it in the one video. I don't remember if I said it this time. Make sure you pull out the right question. All right. Now, this one's tricky, not because of anything he's doing, but because of this 2 years business. To know how many, if he's doing everything for a day in 2 years, that's great information, but how many days are in a year? If you don't know that one, commit this to memory right now. Say it like 10 times until it's in your head or something like that. There are 365 days. Days equals 1 year. And I know some of you that really know that are already starting to argue with me that there's an extra quarter on there because leap years and da-da-da-da-da. But let's not get too fussy, okay? So we've got 365 days as a general understanding of what 1 year is. So now I've got a bonus problem going on in here that's not even said. Sometimes story problems are tricky like that. I actually am going to have to do a couple steps to figure this problem out. So let's go over here. Let's see, we have Jonas practice hours. We'll say we still need a start spot. And you guys, there's a couple ways you could do this, and I'll just go with one, but if you do it slightly different, that's probably okay, because I'm going to have to figure out how many hours he practices a day, which means I need to pay attention to 1 year, but then he doubles it. So you could either A, figure out how many days total he's practicing, or B, what he practices for 1 year, and then double it for 2 years. For me, I'm going to figure out 1 year and then what 2 years would actually look like, mostly because that's kind of the order the story problem goes. But if your brain went a different direction, that's okay too. So I'm going to need a pretty decent sized model drawing bar here because a year is a long time. And I know that on day 1 of the year, he's going to practice for 2 hours. I know that on day 2 of the year, he will practice for 2 hours. On day 3, another 2 hours, and because he's a very committed kid, all the way out to day 365, he's going to practice for 2 hours. Okay, so there's that. What I don't know is how many hours that actually is for the 1 year. But that's not the question I'm asking. I actually need to know 2 years. So this is one where you're actually going to end up with a second bar. And this question mark, whatever I come up with for, oops, that was a really ugly arrow, sorry about that. Whatever I come up with for 1 year, I actually need to know what it's going to be if I use that twice. And then that is my real question. I'm going to box it in just because I'm getting a lot of question marks. That's what I'm really after. Once I know how much he does in 1 year, I can figure out what that would be doubled, and that will actually answer my question. Okay, and if you're struggling to find out what kind of problem that might be, go on. In the next few minutes, I'm going to have shared out to your classroom just some general tips. I went through and I made videos of how to do every kind of problem, every kind of way we do it, kind of those number talk things that we do in class. I made a video going through each way. And I made a video about story problems and how different parts and totals and what information I have might lead me to deciding what kind of problem I'm dealing with. So by the time you look at that, you should be able to figure out what's going on and what kind of math you need to do to find your answer. And then once you have an answer, make sure you submit it to your teachers. All right, have a great day, guys.